Hi, my name is Beverly Wright, and I was asked to give sort of a personal history of myself. I've been asking for the community for their help in um, this court case that I'm having brought against me by the state of Oregon and the Department of Justice here in Oregon because I ran for state office and they really didn't like my political opinions, though it's my right to have them. And I've had questions as to what are my disabilities? How do I classify myself as disabled? Why would anyone want to protect me? How can I prove? I get it. We have a reason to be less than trusting in this world. I understand that. So, a synopsis of me. um, Many people want to know about when I got injured. Well, that was Valentine's Day, 99. And it was the morning of my honeymoon. I had just gotten married, and we were traveling out of Susanville, California, and wet ice. We hit a sheet of black ice, and the snowplows had been through, and so there was quite a bit of snow off to the side, and our truck shot off the embankment. We literally did a Dukes of Hazzard, just, you know. Our truck went upside down, and I saw this boulder, and I grabbed my husband and pulled him across my lap and threw my arm around my head, and we slammed into the boulder, flipped, and rolled 7.5 times down the cliff. It was a sharp cliff. What stopped us was these 4 trees that we slammed up against, and one of them fell down. So that's when I blew out my neck. At that point, it wasn't what I would call broken. It was just C6 and C7. The soft tissue disc was completely blown the wrong direction, and it was in a bad way. I'd been hurt bad. I didn't know it at the time. And as we went crashing through there, I could feel the rocks and rubble across my arm. I could feel everything and the glass shatter, and it was terrifying. And when we finally stopped, I remember saying an out loud, really loud prayer about, God help and Tony come. Tony was a friend of mine who died in a car wreck, a woman. And I heard music playing, and it was Amazing Grace playing right there on the cassette tape. I mean, of all the songs of the cassette, that's the one that was playing. And I got my husband out of the truck, and I got myself out of the truck. And it's funny, we hadn't seen any traffic along the road that entire time, and yet at that moment there was 2 cars. The first car had a doctor who was on vacation and his wife who was a nurse, and he came down the hill to help because medical. They expected us not to be alive. And then the second car was a general who had a phone that would work in the mountain that called for help for us. And they got us up there, and the ambulance came. It was later when we got home that I had a physician's assistant who would not check me out. She said, "Oh, you just got bumped around." Well, I began having seizures. Never had seizures in my life. This was new. And I wasn't right. And I had a hospital stay for my rib cage swelling up. It was like a heart attack, but it wasn't a heart attack. It was a lining between that was happening. And, my daughters are 11 and 13 at this time. And then I went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor did an MRI of my head, and they found that I had a brain tumor and my neck was busted. And so they sent me back to this physician's assistant who refused to give me my results. It turned into a great big fight because she was wrong, seriously wrong, terribly wrong, but she refused to give me my results. So I fought with them, and I made them give me my results. And then I got other doctors who had been siding with this gal to apologize to me that she should have given that to me 3 days earlier. So it was rough. All of it was rough. When we had gone into OHSU, Dr. John Delishaw was my physician. He's the best neurosurgeon. I searched for the best. I had Blue Cross Blue Shield. I was fully covered. He was the one to do my surgery. So I was getting blue ribbon care. I looked for just him. I wanted Dr. Delishaw. But what I got was a student doctor instead. I paid full price, but I got a student doctor because he's a professor at a school. Well, unfortunately, that student doctor, when pushing the cadaver bone in my neck, broke it, slicing my cord, crushed it, and gave me quadrithesis. Quadrithesis has since become quadriparesis, which will become quadriplegic. My bones are just, they're breaking and falling, and they're not right. So what I have is limited, and a shift in my bones send me down. So good days, bad days, barometer drops, so do I. But you live with that, and you understand that. And they took the brain tumor out of my head as well. It was a 3-centimeter ball right behind my eye. Got a nice little incision around my head. And that wasn't a wonderful surgery. I came out of that looking really bad. It took a while, and unfortunately it has caused aphasia, which means sometimes I get the wrong word at the wrong time. I have memory loss, short-term memory loss, which means I don't remember commercials. Oh well. But overall, I don't mind the short-term memory loss. I just mind the people who remind me that I have short-term memory loss or what I forgot. I can get better about it. Just don't remind me I forgot. We'll be fine. I won't notice. So I'm dealing with those aspects. And I've since found that I have celiac disease, so there's a lot of things I can't eat. And I was born with mermaid syndrome, so my legs are a little different. They're very, very stretchy. And I have just this long list of PTSD for obvious reasons. And I have a thing called pseudobulbar effect. When your head is damaged, brain injury, it happens a lot. It's called PBA, pseudobulbar effect. There are times that I just start crying, and I'm not crying, but my brain is crying. And other times I'll be crying, but it's not a cry that I want, where you become so emotional you don't know what to do about it, or it's like you just can't stop yourself when you're getting upset. Now my care provider, Rebecca, she balanced me. She kept me from, getting too far gone on myself. And I take a medication to balance it. What PBA is when you have a brain injury, and it happens with Alzheimer's and dementia and MS, but 52% of people who have brain injuries, TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, we end up with PBA, and there's a medication you can take for it that helps it, but Nudextra. It's when the front of your brain isn't talking to the back of your brain, and so emotions get all jumbled in between. And so I'm not wanting to be upset. I'm not wanting to cry, and yet I do. I'm not stupid. I'm not, I haven't lost my marbles. It's just my brain isn't talking to itself quite right. It's an actual brain injury. It's a problem. It's a physical problem. I don't need to be treated like I'm an incompetent, because I'm not. It's just very hard at times, and if I'm tired, it shows up. If I'm under a lot of stress, it shows up. Sometimes it just shows up because, but it's good to have a name for it. It's good to have medication for it. So these are the several different things. My care provider's job wasn't just to take care of me for my neck injury. She was for my short-term memory loss. She was for my sensory deprivation. I can move them. They're just not very strong. And I do a lot of core movement. And I don't feel the vast majority. And it's just different. I burn myself. I cut myself. I don't know it. I'll find blood, So it's a complicated body. And a care provider's job is to keep you safe in the first place. Now, think about this. They want to send me to felony prison because they say I'm not disabled, though I'm clearly disabled, because they don't think I really needed that many hours. Well, without my care provider, I've had 3 hospital stays, 5 ambulance rides, I've been repeatedly injured, and have had stitches without my care provider. I've dropped weight because I can't eat. I'm not allowed in the kitchen. I've ruined, let's see, I've ruined 3 pots, 1 tea kettle, and broken 2 glass tables. That's why we have a care provider. A care provider keeps you safe in the first place. A care provider is not going to forget the stove on and walk away like I do. A care provider is there to keep you from exasperating what's going on in your body. Now, in 2 years' time of her caring for me and keeping me out of hospitals and stitches and all the rest, the state spent $38,000. They want you to spend $30,000 a month to put me in felony prison for 5 years. But since I'm disabled, they'd probably end up putting me in the asylum, which is $60,000 a month. But they're complaining about $38,000. And they've spent $1 million on pursuing me for a year and a half. The courts, the detective dudes are clicking cameras after me without knowing what my disabilities even are. DHS in overdrive, and all of their attorneys in overdrive, and the myriad of hours, and public defenders that are not public defenders. And why? Because I ran for office. I was trying to help my mom. I was trying to help people with Alzheimer's and dementia not be abused in memory care facilities. But I guess the state likes being able to pay on Medicaid just $6,000 a month for half a room for a person to shut up and go into elderly prison, versus the money you'd have to spend on a nursing home, which Medicare will pay for, but Medicaid, state insurance won't pay for it. State insurance, absolutely no neurological benefits. They block out the cancer treatments. They won't do surgery. They tell the doctors, don't diagnose it because we're not going to pay for it. And if you diagnose it, then we have to fight them on it. I'm sorry, a doctor spends nearly half their life in school, and we're not allowing them to say, hey, this is what's wrong with you, this is what needs to happen, let's take care of this. Now, if they did, we wouldn't really have a problem with wrong fees. We spend more money with the emergency room setup than just dealing with stuff the right way in the first place. They're so busy trying to circumvent it, we're not doing what we're supposed to do, and people are dying. People are getting hurt, and I'm being punished because I told too much. The DOJ does not like my opinion. They want to shut me up and shut me down. If I had not bothered with wanting safety for people with Alzheimer's and putting these memory care people on the map under the watchful eye of the Board of Nursing and the law, that's what I'm asking for. I am asking that memory care facilities follow the same laws as the hospital, as the ambulance, as long-term care housing, foster care housing, people who have born with mental retardation. They all have legal rights, but someone with Alzheimer's and dementia doesn't, because you're not born with Alzheimer's and dementia. It develops as you get toxins in your body. So, okay, you're not given the same level of legal protection. That's why I ran. I ran because I wanted legal protection for anyone with Alzheimer's and anyone with memory care problems. Dementia, memory care, if you need a place to be, it needs to be on the same level as a nursing home. There needs to be physical therapy involved. Memory care places don't have physical therapy. They don't have a nursing staff. They don't have CNAs. They don't have properly trained people. Nursing homes do. And maybe they do cost a little bit more, but you know what? That's what's needed. And if the state doesn't want to pay for it, leaving them in these low-grade places is wrong. My mother has failure to thrive over all that they've done to her. I'm not okay with it. That's why I ran for office. I was doing good. I was trying to protect the people who are most fragile. It's more than just about my mom. It is so much more. And I really want this safety and this betterment to happen in our society. So I'm being punished by the state of Oregon for opening my big mouth and trying to do something that was appropriate for the community. If we don't fix this problem, we inherit it. We really, as a community, we got to stop the abuse. And That was my entire reason. If I had actually been trying to win that office, not just get this information forward to legislation to where they could help the community, if the state really wanted to help the people, they would. I would have been getting people to finance me. I would have been getting supporters. I would have been signing up to whoever would whatever. And I would have been shaking hands with people and letting them tell me what they want me to do for them. I wasn't trying to win the seat for that because they don't want someone like me up there. I am very, very honest, and I have got this integrity about me that I want people to be taken care of and protected, that they have a right to the law, that it says you have the right to freedom of speech. You have a right to the privacy in your home. You can take the fifth and say nothing at all. No, there are so many. Get to know your amendment rights. There's the American Disability Act, which says reasonable accommodations. When they decided to send Social Security after me, Social Security, it was this attitude of we're going to get you and your little dog too. Well, they came back because I just said, look, I'm not going to argue with you. Send your paper, I'll sign your paper. Go ask my doctor. I'm not capable of diagnosing myself. Go ask my doctor. I don't know. So they did. And they sent me a letter saying that I am fully disabled and that I get all of my money through Social Security, and that they support anyone who's disabled attempting to get work or part-time work, because they'll reduce the amount or they'll hold your check for as long as you can work. But if you're working or trying to work or even a part-time work, they support that. They think that, so there would be no qualm with me actually winning the seat and getting this job. I would still qualify for food stamps. The money that they pay for legislators is so tiny that I could qualify for food stamps and housing and medical program, the whole thing. So the only thing that would really have a difference is Social Security might hold my check. But they told me that at the level of disabled that I am, that they would immediately give it back to me, and I wouldn't even have to jump through hoops to get to it. They just, good on you, do the best you can. And I would think that would be enough, but instead of, being in support of a disabled woman running for office, trying to do something good, and, bettering my situation, I'm being punished for it. I never took money from anyone. If I'm such a terrible criminal, wouldn't you think that that would be the first greedy thing I did, is to get a whole bunch of money hidden off on the side? I never took money. I never had any desire to do that. I just wanted to get care because I'm very clear on my disabilities. I know I probably couldn't do a job like that, or not. It would really take a toll on me. But the point wasn't to get the job. The point was to get the information to the legislation and do something publicly about it. And that was all it took for the DOJ to come after me and batter me and accuse me of felony fraud and want to send me to prison for 5 years. You're going to send a woman in a wheelchair to prison for 5 years at 30 to 60 grand a month because of $38,000? What? And they've sent me plea bargains that are absolutely asinine, and they just want to pass me through. And what kind of madness is this? The DOJ came in and took control with DHS, stomped over my civil rights, stomped over the top of me, harassed my family, threatened everyone, took control of Northwest Senior, chopped my hours, and blocked me. How is that legal? How is that right? How does any of that make sense? I never frauded anyone. My disability, it's gotten worse because of all that they've battered me through. And I am asking you to please stand with me and send a message to the state of Oregon that we don't tolerate abusing people, and that it is a good idea to get care, legal protection for people in memory care facilities. I didn't do any of this for myself. I did it for my mom and for the people. Please help me. We are trying to raise funds to protect me in court. let everyone know. I thank you for your time. And here's to a better tomorrow. Good night.